Okay, so today we are talking to Tracy Seider, who is a movement coach. Tracy, tell us what you do.
Hi, Emily. Good morning. Well, it's morning in Toronto. Hope you're having a lovely day in the UK. So I am a movement coach. I came into this work about 5 years ago because I was suffering from my own pain. I had hip pain, back pain, excruciating, and bladder issues that kind of came out of nowhere. And I thought that I'd been ticking off all the blocks, and doing well because I've been doing yoga since I was 15, and I trained as a yoga teacher in 2009. So although I was working a desk job, I worked as an editor for about 25 years. I thought I was good to go because I would be exercising maybe for 45 minutes in an hour a day. So when I hit my mid-40s and I had my third child at 42, I suddenly started developing all these issues, and I didn't know where they were or what they were coming from. But I did what I thought to do. I was regularly going to massage, chiropractor, acupuncture, physio, and everything would give me temporary relief. But then in retrospect, I was going back to the same way I sat at my desk, the same way I sat at my car, the same idea of being what's called actively sedentary, which I'll explain in a minute. So all this kind of passive work that was being done on me was only helping for a bit because I would go back to the same thing. So in my quest to find self-healing, because I went to the doctor to get everything checked out, and I had, I don't know how much money the Ontario healthcare system spent on me trying to find out what was wrong, okay? I was told everything was fine, thank goodness. I didn't need surgery. I did not have interstitial cystitis because, of course, I Googled and I was sure that that was it. I did not have recurring bladder infections because although I was getting urgency and pain and frequency, the tests always came back negative. So I'm like, what is this? So in my quest to resolve all of this, I came across the work of a biomechanist in the US by the name of Katie Bowman, who's got an organization called Nutritious Movement. And I Googled her frantically and bought her amazing book, which is called Move Your DNA, and started doing her exercises and making some lifestyle choices. And my symptoms started abating. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I looked a bit further into her work, and then I said to my husband, I don't think this editing thing is for me anymore. I want to go and study with Katie Bowman, which, being the wonderful husband he is, he agreed to. And I did Katie Bowman's 2-year restorative exercise specialist certification. So that is what I'm certified as, okay? So really what we're doing what I'm doing as a movement coach, and I layer in my yoga background too, is that we are teaching the body to move better and to move more. That's very simply what it boils down to. So we're looking at a whole body program. I wrote down a bit of a definition.
Cool.
Because I'm still trying to perfect my elevator pitch, because what I'm doing, and why I'm going to show you some examples of what I do, because all I can do is tell you what I'm not, okay? I'm not a physio. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a yoga teacher. It's somewhere different and in between and including all of that, okay? So it's a full body movement reset and I'm specifically working with peri and menopausal women because I'm 50 in January, which is like hard to believe. So it's a full body movement reset for peri and menopausal women wanting to rediscover strength, flexibility, ease of movement, and vitality of their 20s and 30s without spending hours at the gym, worrying about injury, which was a big thing for me too. Every time I would go back to exercise in the way that I knew, I would land up being injured and having a setback. Or having to worry about getting sweaty, which is awesome if you like getting sweaty, but if you want to put movement into your whole day, you know, you don't want to be getting sweaty the whole day. It has to be
you don't want to be rushing off to have a shower again.
Exactly, yes,
yeah.
But you still want to be moving, and that is absolutely an option. So that's kind of what I do, right?
Okay.
Any questions on that? And I can start breaking it down.
So your typical woman coming to work with you, or looking to work with a movement coach generally, has started, when she started getting her peri symptoms, has started just feeling sluggish and achy and just all out of sorts. Would that be the right sort of thing?
Yes. I'm usually the last resort, which I 100% appreciate. And it's actually great, because for me, this work was also the last resort, because it's a little bit out of the box. Although when I do go on my continuing education trainings, there are more and more physios and OTs and chiropractors looking into this approach, because it's a very scientifically based approach. Okay, it's not thumbsuck, it's stuff coming out straight out of the biomechanics departments at universities that is yet to filter down into what is being taught in physio, massage, chiropractics, and all of that. It's really looking at a whole body approach in terms of the skeleton and the fascia. But yes, so those women who come to me, they've got shoulder issues, a lot of people with lower back, because lower back is very much tied into the whole pelvic floor stuff. Often hip. Again, those are pelvic floor muscles. And they generally just, they're feeling just like they've tried everything and nothing's working, and that they've been told, oh, this is just part of getting old. So when the doctor says to you, like they say to me, oh, this is just part of aging, you know, just, and suddenly you're turning the magazine and you're starting to notice the adult diaper and incontinence pads ads, which you've never noticed before, but they're starting to get your attention, okay? So you have two choices. You can either, oh, okay, this is normal. The adult diaper pad industry, which is $1 billion industry, and which is very invested in keeping all this going. So you can either take that approach and like, fine, that will just have to be my future. Or the people who come to me, and the part that I came from is that I refuse to accept that this will be my future. I refuse to accept that this is part of aging. And there must be something to do to help resolve these symptoms and issues. And there 100% is. However, the flip side of that is that you have to do the work. It's nothing passive that can be done to you.
And that is always the thing, isn't it? And that's it's the big thing I'm noticing with all of the women that I'm interviewing for these webinars, is we as women in perimenopause, we can take pills from the doctor, which I'm by no means dissing, because they are amazing and they work very, very well for some women. But actually, for any of the other ways of managing it, we've got to put in the work.
100%. Yeah.
So do you want to demonstrate us a couple of things?
Yes, absolutely. So there are kind of three main areas that I'm looking at in terms of this whole body, whole lifestyle approach. The first is that we've got to learn to move better. So that's part of what I'm teaching. And by moving better, I mean, we've all got these movement patterns that we've had as children. So when you go to the physio, when you go to the gym, when you go to yoga class, you're, for example, doing a squat the way your body knows how to do a squat. It will always do it the same way. Okay, you will always do downward dog the same way. You will always walk the same way. And what we're looking at is, okay, your body only knows one way to do something, which is the automatic way it's getting into it. We want to create more pathways and get more muscles in the body involved. So I'm really looking at people's kind of cheats and movement blind spots and helping them to get better full body movement through their body. The other thing is we're going to learn, we need to move so much more than we even begin to imagine we're moving. And that's a lot of the work that I do, is just choosing to sit a different way. So you see here I'm sitting on the floor talking to you. So
Yeah.
I have this dynamic workstation where I'm moving throughout the day. I'm making choices throughout the day to move more. Like if I go to a parking lot, I'll park as far away from the store as I can, because everything counts and you want to be like this active moving person all day long. But often that requires, like there are many clients who can't sit on the floor yet. And so we need to get more of our bodies moving too, so that people do have an option to sit on the floor, to sit a different way, to move a different way. And that's what we mean by getting more of your body moving when you move. So part of that, and an important part of all three of those factors, moving better, moving more, and moving more of you when you move, is just alignment. Because even just knowing where your body should be in space is huge.
Yeah.
I always used to think, ballet dancers are nice and thin and toned. Let me walk and stand like a ballet dancer. Meanwhile, that's very damaging to your whole musculature and core system. And I'll explain to you why right now, because I'm going to show you 2 alignment points. And if we still have time, then I'll show you one of my favorite exercises that I do all day long. One of my corrective exercises. So maybe we'll do 3 alignment points. So these alignment points you want to be checking when you're standing, when you're sitting, and when you're moving, because the body is not just this arbitrary mishmash of muscles and bones, okay? It's, if you see my skelly in the background there, it's a specific system. Like our bones should look like skelly mostly, okay? Most of our bones are not sitting in that kind of alignment anymore, and it's pulling the muscles out, which means the body can't activate them and use them well, okay, all day long. And that's what we want. So either, I don't know, the muscles are pulling the bones, or the bones are pulling the muscles. The point is, some things have become too tight, some things have become too loose, and we are not able to find a neutral alignment with ease any longer. Just knowing where neutral alignment is and how neutral compares to your normal is really where we start. So the first alignment point I want to show you is, that's too dark. Let me move this so that you can see my body against the wall. Is when you stand, how do you stand? Okay, are you standing like this? Are you standing like that? When you just generally come to stand up, and we're standing up a lot. Just want you to be able to see, sorry, my whole body here. Okay, I may have to cut my head off if that's okay. So what you want to do, what you want to understand about how to stand is, where are you meant to stand? Is there a better option? Is one option better than another option? So the way you ascertain what is the best stance for your legs is, everybody's got a different hip distance apart width based on their anthropomorphic dimensions. So what you want to do is you want to look for these sticky outy bones on your hip joints. They're called the ASIS, the anterior superior iliac spine. And they're these sticky outy bones here, okay? They're easy to find when you're lying down, and then that can give you a sense of where they are when you're standing up. So you want to find your ASIS, your hip bones, find if you put your hands on your hips, like you're going to scream at someone. Ah! It's usually where your middle finger is, or your index finger. Then you take a plumb line, and you drop a plumb line. I notice most of my clients are standing with their feet too narrow. So you want to drop a plumb line from the ASIS. You want that to bisect with your knee and your ankle. So I would need to stand a little bit further apart to get my optimal hip distance apart. Okay. I remember when I first started this, I felt like I was standing like that because it felt so weird because my normal was here and my neutral is here compared to Skelly. Skelly's legs are just falling straight down from under the hip bones. But what happens is over time, as we lose more length in our lateral hips, our feet become narrower and narrower when we stand and when we walk. So we get loose and weak down the sides and tight in the inner thighs. And tight inner thighs are going to affect your pelvic floor, right? So that's how you stand. So you may notice, don't know if you want to stand up and try it, is that when you do come to hip distance apart, you can actually feel these lateral hip muscles just gently turn on to support you. That's all. It's nothing major, but it's a little bit of an on feeling. Can you sense that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's hip distance apart. So even just standing hip distance apart, you're exercising all day long. We also want to be careful that exercise is a very kind of new human phenomenon. Humans, like, I don't know, maybe the past 70, 80 years, have we been exercising?
Yeah.
Previous to that, humans like moved. They just moved. And exercise is a subcategory of movement.
Yes.
So I really do count standing hip distance apart at the bank as exercise because you're making a choice. My lateral hip muscles are either not working or they're working. Okay, the next alignment point is where we wear our weight.
Okay.
Most people are kind of standing like this.
Yeah.
A little bit forward onto the small bones of the feet. And that is because our quads are usually quite tight because most of us are quad dominant and trap dominant. But there's also a lot of tightness through the back of the body because most of us are calves way too tight. So we're kind of being held in this position by all the chair sitting that we do, which is a whole nother conversation, which we won't get to. And I say chair sitting, not just sitting, because we seem to be for many, many hours a day. Try and calculate how many hours a day you chair sitting. That means 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
Which that positioning shortens the calf muscles, okay? But then we also, since very young children, we put in these shoes that tip us forward. We put in heeled shoes. And by heeled, people think, oh, it's got to be a stiletto. No. If you put like a 1-inch block under a bookshelf, that bookshelf is going to tip forward. So anything that is not flat from the heel to the toe of the shoe. See, even a ballet flat has got a little bit of a heel.
Yeah.
Even your running shoe, if you put your hand inside your running shoe, you can feel what an angle it's holding you at.
Yeah.
So our bodies are being cast in this tipped forward position from when we were young children, so that if you come to stand, you're a little bit forward. So now let's measure what the alignment point is. Where should we actually be standing in terms of a neutral anatomy, and how far is our normal from that neutral? So again, you take your plumb line. Let me take something that's lighter. Just a yoga strap, or I don't know, a washer tied on a string. You look for the top of your femur, of your leg bone. You can kick it out to the side like that, and then you can feel where the joint is, or even just go like that. You can feel the joint. So find the top of the bone, and then you hold up your plumb line, and you see, well, where does the plumb line fall? Because should be a vertical line. Is it vertical or is it diagonal?
Wow.
Okay, so what we want to do then is we want to shift our way back to our heels and get a vertical line. So that, I'll show you the difference. I'm still quite stuck in this position, but I'm much better than what I used to be. Plus, I try to be aware to shift my weight back as much as I can during the day. So the difference in that, and in terms of saying I'm still a bit stuck forward, we've got to give ourselves time and patience for everything to move, because this is change and healing done on a cellular level. It's not a quick fix, but even a small change can start to make a big difference. So if we want to look at our weight and think, are we here? Just shift your center of gravity, which is your pelvis area here. Just shift your center of gravity back onto your heels. And you may feel the first time you do that, like, whoa, you're falling over. So we don't want to hold these alignment points with any tension. If you're sitting up here, see what that alignment does to the pelvis. It tucks the pelvis under.
Yeah.
That's very damaging for pelvic floor health. So as you take your weight back onto your heels, and the heel is designed to be the thing to hold the body weight, not the small bones of the feet. So people also notice a lot of their foot issues start resolving. The heels are holding them up more. So you're shifting your weight back onto the heels, still pressing through the toes. But what happens is when you move your weight back, your hamstrings and your glutes start to carry your body more and not your quads. And these are the muscles designed to hold up and walk the body.
I'm going to have to try, because I've got these beams behind me. You're going to be able to see it really clearly. Right. So, can you see how I'm? That's my normal.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
I want to be further back, don't I? I want to be.
Yes.
God, you can really feel. You can feel your glutes absolutely start working. Oh my goodness.
So so what I like to think of with these corrective exercises, okay, so it starts with the line point, with the small breakdown exercises we give to give more strength and neuromuscular connection. Like you want the brain to be able to find the body you want the brain to be able to find muscles in a functional way. You can go to the gym and do leg lifts all day long, okay? But if when you're walking, which is very pelvic floor protected, just walking, when you're walking and your brain can't find glutes to walk you forward, you may as well not even have the glute strength in terms of how it's helping and healing your body. So it's awesome just to actually feel. And what's that sensation for you?
That when I just stood up correctly, I could feel my glutes absolutely holding me.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to it being my knees or my shins or my feet. I didn't feel like I was off balance at all. I felt like as I leant back a bit, my glutes went, oh, right, hold on.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah, that's what you're meant to do.
Awesome. I'm so happy. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Just for people who are watching and trying this, because we have so much tightness through the front of the body, especially for people who are very tight through the hip flexors, like I am, because I've got a bit of an anteriorly rotated pelvis. For most people, their pelvis is either, their pelvis is too tucked.
Yeah.
Too under. I have an anteriorly rotated pelvis, a little bit tipped forward.
Yes.
So we do want to find a neutral pelvis, which I won't get into detail now. That's like a whole nother story.
That's another one.
Force, okay? You don't want to be forcing, because then you're using your back muscles to achieve that, and we don't want to add tension on tension. So if people are trying to find this vertical line and they feel that their toes are coming up and it feels awful, what you can do is just give a tiny little hinge here.
Okay.
Take off the tension. Just a little hinge will take off the tension and will help you to find this back line of strength better. But even if you just shift a tiny bit, you're going to start feeling a difference. So that's the vertical leg. The other one, I'll show you one more alignment point. This is my favorite. Is the positioning, and it's the positioning of the ribs.
Okay.
Most of us, especially at kind of our perimenopausal, menopausal age, have become rib thrusters to hide the rounding of our backs, because the alignment point for the ribs is kind of down. You want to, if you put your hands on your ribs, on like the bottom ribs and the top of your pelvis, the top of your hip, they should line up on a vertical plane. I'm standing up, so they should line up on a vertical plane. Most people's ribs are a little bit out here because we've been told, stand straight, shoulders back, chest up. That's supposed to be like a good posture. It may be posture, it may look good, but it's not alignment. We want to be in correct alignment and still look good. We don't want to fix our posture, but then be messing with our alignment, because that affects how muscles are going to work or not work. So what you want to do is, there's tension that is holding these ribs up. And a good way to measure it is to put your hand on your sternum, okay? And your sternum should be vertical. It should not be at a diagonal.
Oh,
so
wow.
there's tension holding it there. So what I want you to do is to just close your eyes, breathe in, and just exhale and let your ribs drop so that your sternum is vertical. You may feel two things when that happens. You may feel your whole core musculature just gently come on. And you may think, oh my goodness, I am so rounded in my upper back when I drop my ribs to neutral. And that's a lot of us are, because we've been doing this for so many years now. But what happens is, because they're so rounded and stooped, we go like this to hide it. This super rounding is called hyperkyphosis, and I'm a great example of it, having sat at an office and worked at a computer for 25 years. And I was a total rib thruster and hider, also because of the yoga background and the dancing background, but because I was so rounded. So, but what happens is, when we lift our ribs like that, we're turning off the core musculature. So everything else has to work really hard, because your core is not firing and coming on as it should throughout the day. Plus, you're going to start getting pretty sore back. A lot of people also feel like they've got this sway back, but when you put your ribs down to neutral, suddenly you don't have sway back anymore.
I'm going to have to try it.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Right, let me get this chair out of the way. Okay, so.
Yeah. So just stand like you normally stand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely, now you've said it, I can really feel, yeah.
And
Okay,
can you
so,
feel that there's actually tension? You're using tension to hold those
yeah,
ribs. Yeah.
I can feel that my back is compensating for everything.
Yes.
So
don't pull the ribs down with your obliques. I don't want you to pull them down. I want you to just release the tension. And so it's like a bell. The ribs, think of the ribs like a bell. That bell is ringing down. So the ribs are going, they're going kind of down and a little bit into your body.
yeah.
Okay.
My glutes and my core muscles are suddenly working.
Wow. Awesome.
And I can feel it sort of extending my lower back because it's pulling everything round.
It's magic.
Well, there we go. I'm going to be having to try those.
It's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because I know I always try to push my shoulders back because I went to a school where deportment was important and we learnt to walk with books on our heads and all that stuff. And I know I'm terrible for sticking out for having a curved lower back. I'm terrible for lordosis of the lower back. And suddenly doing that, I could feel everything just felt like it felt like if you had your plumb line here, it would have dropped in the right line.
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So these alignments, if you're checking your alignment the whole day, because then you can feel your core come on.
Yeah.
And it's awesome when you're driving. I remember the first time I was driving and I turned a corner, it was like my core came on all by itself to support me. If your core is working all day long, you do not need to be doing ab exercises.
No, absolutely. That's so interesting. Wow. So, and I mean, obviously, anybody who is going through this phase of life, indeed anybody who's having problems with their posture and with their lower back pain and hip pain and all the rest, these 3 exercises are an amazing starting point, but people could come and work with you, and you've got an online course, is that right, that can help people?
I do teach online. Yeah.
Yep.
So I teach one-on-one online. I'm in the process of writing a course. Hopefully that will be done at the end of winter. But I do see people in person in Toronto in my little studio here, and I also work online over Zoom or Skype, helping people with their alignment. The big thing about the ribs that I wanted to mention is that when you drop your ribs and you feel your head's now out here, that's really showing you how much curvature you really do of your upper back. So then there would be exercises that I would give you to correct that upper back, because going like that is not correcting your problem. If anything, it's making it worse. So yeah, I don't want, if you drop your ribs and you feel like you're very stooped and your head is very forward, don't let that put you off. Like, do the rib drop when you're in the car or when you're at home, because it doesn't look great to have this hyperkyphosis, but understand that that's a problem and you want to fix that, and there are corrective exercises.
Yes, so if you get the kyphosis, that is step 1 to correcting it, by actually getting your ribs right, and then worry about what your spine's doing.
Yes, yeah. So, but I don't expect you to like go to a dinner party and feel like, if you feel it's appropriate to lift your ribs. But if you're working at the same time on these upper body and upper back exercises, your spine will start correcting. Wow. So drop your ribs when you can, and certainly drop your ribs when you are exercising or doing tummy exercises.
So we all need to be thinking about actually where our feet should be in relation to our hips when we're standing.
Oh, so I didn't do the hip alignment point because sorry, I didn't do the feet. I did the hip.
Ah, yes.
Feet is another story. So I don't want to get to the feet today. So there are about 6 alignment points. So we did 3 today.
Yeah.
Distance apart. Okay.
Yes.
So how far you stand with your legs. where you're holding your weight, are you out there or are you out there? The rub with this is that if you're wearing a heeled shoe, like any heeled shoe, it is going to tip you forward onto your quads. So that means you've got to start thinking about going flatter over time, and the ribs. So I do have a little booklet, a little manual that goes through these alignment points, and I can send you the link later if people want to.
Brilliant, yeah.
Download it. You can put it at the bottom of the post, just to go through them again, and you'll see what the other alignment points are. They're in that manual too.
Wow, I feel like I've learned just so much today. That's been brilliant. Like, as somebody who is a PT and goes to Pilates and all of those good things, those little adjustments are things that it had never occurred to me to do. So it's so useful. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Tracy. And when I put this online, will you be happy to answer any questions people have about anything?
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Excellent. Well, that's just been so interesting.
Thank you for inviting me to be part of the Perimenopausal Hub. I love what you're doing, and it's so important and helpful. I think I didn't even know the term perimenopause existed, maybe till about 2 years ago. So you're doing incredible work, and thank you. We all thank you for that.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day.